Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, today we're going to talk about the vote. The vote took place in the U.S. House of Representatives over forming a committee to look into what happened on the 6th, to find out what happened at the Capitol. Now, if you watch this channel with any regularity, that vote probably went exactly as you would have predicted it. But if you're part of that Republican base, you're part of that group of people that is heavily swayed by sound bites, I bet you have some serious questions. And if you don't, you should. Because only 2 Republicans voted in favor of investigating what happened that day. That seems odd. That should raise your eyebrows a little bit. Because there are Republicans in the House who floated some pretty wild claims, who said it was the work of left-wing agitators. It was BLM. It was the FBI. Now, if you actually believe that these things are possibilities, wouldn't you want an investigation? Wouldn't you want to look into this to kind of undermine that narrative that's out there? Because if you truly believe this is what happened, you would want people to know it. You would want people to say, hey, you know, that all that stuff that we heard, that's not true. It wasn't these people riled up by Trump. It was this other thing. This is what caused it. And they've made these claims in an attempt to deflect blame repeatedly. But when it comes time to actually vote to investigate it, they vote no? Man. That really leads you to only one of 2 conclusions, really. Either they believe that these things happened and they're okay with it, or they know they were lying. They know that they were just trying to con you. So they don't want an investigation because they don't want to get busted. They don't want to be shown to be wrong. Those are really the only 2 options. I'm open to hearing a third, but I can't think of one. Because the way the committee is made up, it's going to have Republicans on it who are going to be able to ask questions. And that brings us to something else. Because so few Republicans are concerned about what happened and want the American people to know what happened, there will be somebody on this committee who was opposed to it being formed, who voted against it, and they'll be on it. I'm willing to bet that person will work to undermine it, do everything they can to turn it into a circus, a show, to deflect blame, to continue to attempt to con their base. Because the one thing that can't happen for the Republican Party is for the truth to come out about the 6th. Their base can't know what occurred. At the very least, Republican leaders, they have to give their base talking points, plausible deniability, something to blame it on. Because if they accept reality, well, they might be pretty mad with the Republican Party. Because this chain of events, it starts with those in the House and the Senate enabling Trump. That's where it begins. Now, there's no way that way back then they could have known what was going to happen on the 6th. But that's the chain of events. That's where it really started. When those in Congress failed to serve as a check against executive power, when those in Congress failed to correct the former president when he said things that were against the core principles of this country. That's where it started. And that's why they don't want their base to know. All but 2 Republicans voted against finding out what happened on the 6th. Even though it's Republicans who are claiming we don't know what really happened. Now, we know They just don't want their constituents to know. They want to keep their constituents in an echo chamber of confusion. Because if they're confused, well, they're easier to manipulate. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.